Court with Judge Mathis.
Peter Jeffrey is suing Sean Grover in the amount of $1,500. Ms. Jeffrey claims she invested in her boyfriend's education to become a phone sex operator and says he used his new skills to pick up other women.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may all be seated. Judge, both parties have been sworn in.
State your name.
Peter Jeffrey.
Sir?
My name is Sean Grover, Your Honor.
All right, and ma'am, you're suing the defendant for $1,500 for money you invested in his career?
Correct.
All right, start with you.
Yes, Your Honor, I am suing my ex-boyfriend Sean for $1,500.
How long did you all meet? Or how long have you all been together?
It's been almost 3 years now.
Okay, how has it been in those 3 years?
It was great at the beginning. I fell in love with his voice, with his spontaneity, his adventurous side, and it just, I didn't realize
Tell me the
I was being
adventurous
lied to.
side. What's the adventurous side?
He had just had a childlike sense of adventure, just like I do. Our dates would basically just be going to the beach.
Sounds like you pay for your adventure.
Yes, yeah.
It sounds like he's requiring you to pay for his, or allowing you to pay for his adventures.
Correct.
But when did things turn bad? You say 3 years ago you all began talking and dating, and when did things go bad? How recently did you all fall out?
Yeah, he entered my jewelry store looking for a Mother's Day gift last minute, and he ended up staying at my store for over an hour just asking me questions about myself, and then he asked me to dinner. When we went to dinner, his card ended up getting declined, so I paid for our first date. I fell in love with him at first sight, basically, and we were exclusive. He was like my first love.
In the last year or so, things all right?
The last year, he couldn't keep a job. I tried really hard to help him.
That's that adventure.
Yeah. But
that's the downside of that fun and adventure.
Unfortunately, I couldn't have the best of both worlds. I learned that from this relationship. I just saw that he wasn't really motivated in keeping a job, so I tried to help him out with that. Okay,
and we'll get to the specifics of the monies you invested in his career. Let me get some background from you, sir.
Hello, Your Honor. So I met Peter about a couple years ago, 2021, a few days before Mother's Day. I was shopping for a gift for my stepmom, and I saw her, and look at her. She's one of the most beautiful girls I've ever seen. So I wanted to chat her up. I shot my shot, and she picked up on it, and things were going great, and I was having a good time. Yes, I struggled with finances, but I never forced her to pay for anything.
Tell me the type of adventures you engage in. She says you don't work much, but you got a lot of adventure in you.
Yeah, we went to a lot of places. We traveled lightly together in the area, Salt Lake City. We went on
Anything inhibit your ability to work, though? I guess that's what I'm getting to. Any weekday adventures that you love to do, and it had to be done during work hours?
No, Your Honor, I did try to get work. I tried several times. Initially, I approached my uncle who works at a car dealership, and he offered me a job, but I made a mistake within my first week, and he berated me in front of some customers. And
what was the mistake?
I wrongfully put the wrong size engine into a car, and it was embarrassing. I was already embarrassed enough, and he starts belittling me in front of people, and I felt terrible.
What do you think he should have did? Just rub you on the back? Oh, don't worry.
I made a mistake.
The wrong engine doesn't matter. It's just going to cost us a couple extra grand, but don't you worry. Sir, bosses yell at their employees, even though the workplace has changed in recent years. People haven't changed instantly. Yeah, it's going to take a minute before bosses totally stop kind of half yelling at their employees, particularly if they cost them money.
I messed up.
Okay, tell me about your other attempts to get work.
I messed up, and I was willing to continue, but he fired me.
Other attempts to get work.
Afterwards, I tried to pursue a job as a telemarketer, but I didn't feel like I was very good at sales.
How long did you do that?
A couple months.
And nobody bought one thing from you.
There was a few sales.
Nobody, man, you don't want to work, but I'm hearing you did your best, and still it was tough.
I did, Your Honor.
And she forced you into some job. He says you, but you're suing him. So what's going on?
Well,
He says you made him take a job that he didn't like, and is that what caused you all to break up or something?
Your Honor, I was working as a janitor after the telemarketing job.
I just didn't see him wanting to do anything more or build from that or grow. I wanted to find him a side hustle where he could make more money in a less amount of time.
Like what? What type of salary did you want him to have? What was your base price that you would have been satisfied with him as a worker? What would it, 15, 20 an hour, 25, 30, 40? Salary of 60, 80,000 a year, 40,000? What would have satisfied you knowing his level of skill and training? Because you can't expect to be a nuclear physics if you haven't been to college and you're not good at math and science. So, what did you expect?
I just expected him to try a little harder to make more money, and I wanted
Make more money doing what?
possibly not coming home smelling so bad too. Like, I just wanted him to be able to go on more adventures again like we did in the beginning, and he was just always, like, he just spent so many hours working as a custodian, and I just wanted more time with him because I was working a lot as well. So I thought he could make more money as a phone sex operator.
Phone sex operator?
He has.
That's the telemarketing you're talking about, sir?
No,
You
Your
couldn't
Honor.
get but 2 women to listen to you in 2 months.
No, Your Honor.
Well,
I
you
did the
definitely wouldn't. You couldn't?
I did the telemarketing thing prior to PETA pitching
Well, this is
idea.
a different type of telemarketing.
This is a very different
This
type
is
of
sex
telemarketing.
talk.
This is sex talk.
A sex phone. Now, you encouraged him to do that?
I did. I just had a light bulb moment one day because he does have a very sexy voice. It was one of the things that I fell in love with. He's very good at.
You think it's a sexy voice?
I do, yes.
Did his practice at work contribute to a better relationship with y'all? I mean, if he
Unfortunately
practicing
not.
all day talking dirty, when he get home, he can really do it. He can really lay it out for you.
I thought that would help as well. He would have a little more practice. But the main thing, I just wanted
He
him.
talk better dirty to them than to you? That was your
Apparently.
problem. You didn't talk as dirty to her as you do to the mother ones.
I
She didn't
can't.
heard you on the phone. She didn't heard how they talk to you, how you talk to them.
No, Your Honor, I felt I did a pretty good job smooth talking my girlfriend, and I enjoyed it.
So what's your lawsuit for? You encouraged him to get a job, and what was the result? And what didn't you like, and what is the lawsuit for?
Well, I paid $1,500 for a course for him to do better, since at his first audition he ended up laughing throughout the whole entire thing and he didn't take it seriously. So the casting director gave him a card so that he would get better at it, and he saw his potential as well. So after he took the course, he ended up booking his first job.
There is a course.
Correct.
They got to teach people how to talk dirty.
Yes. Apparently it's a little difficult.
Just go wait outside our house. You'll learn what to say. All right, you ain't got to pay no $1,500, Doc.
17 years of my life, I paid $0.
I'm sorry.
You won't believe it. Me and Linda had no idea these boys were hearing us.
Instead, he took that as a way to use that money to learn how to cheat on me, basically.
That's incorrect, Your Honor. I don't see them.
Because
They
I
don't see
heard
me.
this happens too. Seriously, did you ever pretend to be a woman? on
I
the
had
line?
to a few
You had to a
times,
couple of
Your
times?
Honor. As part of the job, yes. I took the class, it taught me a bunch of scenarios, I start working, they start throwing scenarios at me. And it's weird, Your Honor, it goes a lot weirder than just that.
You say, it was worse than that. It
I
was
thought
worse than you pretending to be a woman and saying sexy things to men.
There's a lot of people into feet, Your Honor, describing feet, describing
Okay.
mine, describing theirs,
Okay,
describing smells,
okay. Yeah, things have gotten a lot weirder.
playing roles,
in the
all
last
kinds of
decades,
stuff.
sexually. All right, I got you.
A lot of stuff.
All right.
Stuff I'm not normally comfortable with. You know, I'm simple. I just want to be with my partner. I
You
want to be with
missionary.
Peter. Yeah, I mean,
Why don't you think you should pay the $1,500 back though? If you quit the course, right?
that money was gifted for my course by PETA, who was encouraging and pressuring and almost coercing me into doing it.
When did he
Your Honor.
agree to pay you back?
He never officially agreed that he would pay me
Case
back.
dismissed. It was a gift. Have a good day. If you don't have a contract and there's no agreement, it was a gift, as she said. And he's a gift, right? He's still a gift to you, isn't he?
No, he's a liar and a cheater.
Oh, sorry to hear that, but your claim still dismissed.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been dismissed. Francine Jenkins is suing Paris Coles in the amount of $2,741.57. Ms. Jenkins claims she agreed to pay the camp fees for her son's half-sister and says Ms. Coles rejected the offer after it was too late for a refund.
State your name,
Francine Jenkins.
ma'am.
My name is Paris Cole.
All right, and ma'am, you're suing the defendant for $2,741.57, alleging she owes you this money for a camp fee.
That's correct.
Start with you.
All right, so I and the defendant, our children share the same father. His name's Marcus Jones. I have a 10-year-old who's also named Marcus Jones Jr., and she has a 8-year-old named Priscilla Jones. So I was with Marcus for about 3 years, and towards the point of us having our first child, we started to fall out of love. Just little things that started to become annoying, and then added the stress on a new baby coming to first-time parents. We just fell out. Unfortunately, 2 years ago, he passed away in a car accident, and so.
Sorry to hear that.
Thank you. During that time, before he passed, he ended up getting with the defendant, and they ended up having a child as well. And I really didn't like her, and
Why?
honestly, just jealousy and kind of delusion that I felt like she took my perfect family away from me, like she was the reason kind of like our breakups were going on, or maybe like during that time that I was pregnant that he was stepping out. I thought like they had got together while we were still together.
Hear from you, ma'am. Give me some background.
So I met Marcus about 6 months after they broke up. I got pregnant with his child maybe about 4 months after we got together. I don't understand why she feels that she is due a refund.
Well, what was going on? I don't know what you're talking about, a refund yet. What was going on with the relationship between the two of you? She refers to that because I'm sure that has something to do with the lawsuit today. And so I just didn't know whether you wanted to discuss
That's not true, Your
that.
Honor.
Okay, well, we heard what she said. Go ahead. Maybe you don't know it, but she said it. Whether you think she has a problem with you or not, she made it very clear that she does. Let me hear what you're suing her about.
Okay, so my son Marcus adores his little sister Priscilla, and after the father passed, I thought it would be a great opportunity for them to go to summer camp together. You know, there was a summer camp that their father used to go to as a kid, and I thought it was a great opportunity for them. I told her about it. She let me know that it was kind of pricey for her and it was way out of her budget, and I offered to pay for it, and I said, I think we just need to get the kids together. So basically, she had texted me about how her child didn't want to do the summer camp anymore, but she had texted me literally the day after I could get a refund.
Okay, your testimony on the refund, ma'am?
Your Honor, she pressured me into getting this enrollment
But you
into
agreed,
this.
right? You agreed under the pressure. You broke under the pressure, didn't you? All
I
right.
did agree.
All right. Now you're strong, though.
But I had to.
You're strong now, right? But what's your condition today? You under pressure or you in good shape?
Your Honor, keep in mind that our child's father,
Here we go.
Her children's
Here we go. Don't
father
try to
has-
do that. Don't put that in the middle of this case. Don't use the death of her child's father against her. That has zero to do with this. Zero. We're talking about you and her discussing sending the children to camp. And while during that discussion, you say something that doesn't make sense, I challenge you on it, and then suddenly, well, did you know my dad, feel sorry for me, let me play on your emotions, and maybe you'll back up. No, I'm not. All right, ma'am. And why don't you think you should have to pay?
because I was never told about the actual refund deadline.
She spent that money based on your promise. If she hadn't spent it, then maybe it wouldn't be a contract. But this is a contract in the form of a promise that you made. You reneged on that promise. She had already began in motion in pursuit of what you promised to do, and you backed out and left her in the lurch. So $2,741.57 is your judgment. Have a good day.
All rise.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $2,741.57.
I told you at the end of the day, it wasn't even about the money. Had we just communicated better and you hadn't
Then why
gone on
did you
this
bring him
tangent?
here?
Because, girl,
If it wasn't about the money.
I was going to get my money regardless.
Judge Mathis.
Jeremy McCann is suing Barry Niels in the amount of $2,850. Mr. McCann claims that during a jousting contest, the defendant's spear hit him below the belt and says he had to cancel his honeymoon after he was injured.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may be seated. Both litigants have been sworn in.
Thank you. State your name, sir.
Jeremy McCann, also known as Sir Jeremy McCann.
Sir, your name.
Barry Niels.
And this says that you're suing defendant for $2,850
That is correct, Your Honor.
for a penile injury while jousting your penis.
Yeah,
Is that
that's
what
right.
you're here to sue about?
In a jousting accident that caused me to go to the hospital and cancel my honeymoon.
Jousting your penis.
Jousting, no. So jousting, it's a medieval sport where you ride on a horse with a lance, also
okay.
a long stick, and you try to knock each other
All
off.
right, 'cause I was gonna throw both of y'all out of here. You bring me some mess like this. So don't act like I'm some.
This is a test of the emergency alert system. During emergencies, WPIX will provide important information for New York City and its surrounding areas. This concludes this test of the emergency alert system.
They would do this type of contact in full armor. Do you get concussions when you're knocked off?
Yeah, it's you can see that it's quite a dangerous sport, and there's a lot of factors that come in with injuries.
Yeah, well, man, son, he done failed a few times. Give me some background on the association with Mr. Niels.
So we met about a year ago at a Renaissance fair. He told me that he wanted to get into competitive jousting. Me being a knight, you could bring people on as squires. I decided to hire him as a squire, and the relationship built over there, and we would train together.
Now, the squire is he does the same thing, but is a lower rank.
A squire is, think of it kind of like a knight's assistant. You help them get their armor on, you help maintain the horse, things like that, in hopes to become a knight one day.
Okay. How did that work out?
Well, I guess,
let me ask him, was this what he came to do, and was this the agreement on his duties first? Sir?
Well, yes. I assist Sir Jeremy. Squires are sort of like the knight's pit crew. You know, we polish the armor, we help him suit up in armor, take off the armor. You pick the knight up when they get unhorsed. You take care of the horses. So, yes, I had been clear on
Were you familiar with his work prior to joining him?
Yes, I had heard a lot about him. He was a great knight. I was very honored to train and practice with him and be a part of his competition.
All right, so we're in the midst of royalty. He's just not no regular knight. I should make you bow. So what happened? What went wrong here?
So, doing this competitively, I have to practice often, and I was practicing against another knight with the help of these two squires. After the end of practice, Barry here, he asked me if he could get some practice in himself. So we went a few rounds jousting, and towards our last run together, I could see that his hand was slipping, and the lance went towards my horse's head, and barely missed the head and went right towards my crotch, split my penis open.
Oh.
Didn't sever it off, but split it open. And yeah, it's not a pretty sight. I wasn't happy myself.
Not a pretty listen. I don't
yeah,
even want to. It hurts listening to
I
it.
apologize, Your Honor, but you can imagine. So I later found out that he was jousting with a broken hand, and because of my injury, I missed my honeymoon, and now I have a hospital bill to pay for, and it's due to his negligence, and that's why we're here today.
Why do you say he was negligent? That's the
because
issue.
someone shouldn't practice with a broken hand.
Let me hear from you, sir.
Your Honor, I had no idea at the time of the incident that my hand was broken.
Now you're lying. How long had your hand been broken when you found out it was?
Well, Your Honor, I was having a few practice runs with Tom the other day before the incident. Your Honor, we were having some practice runs before the time of the incident.
How was it the first time?
I'm sorry, Your Honor?
You said the same thing over, back to back. You all right?
I'm all right, thank you. I'm nervous, Your Honor. This is my first time in the courtroom.
Falls. That's them falls, Doc. You're right about them concussions. That a broken hand does not manifest itself immediately. That's why I'm trying to find, when did you learn the time frame of his hand being broken? Because he's making a valuable point. He didn't know it was broken, so he did not practice negligence if he didn't know it was broken.
He knew he was injured, and for all we know, he could be lying. So I found out after the event from my other squire, Tom here, who told me about his broken hand.
And he told you that he was aware of his broken hand.
No, Your Honor.
Did he tell you that?
He was aware that his hand was badly injured.
Okay. This the witness here with you?
Yes.
Squire, would you stand, please? State your name.
My name is Tom Horace, Your Honor.
All right. Do you agree what Mr. McCann says? It happened that way? You tell me.
Yeah, so 3 days before the incident, Barry and I were practicing jousting, which we usually do from time to time. We were on the ranch. We had a few beers. And while we were riding, he fell off his horse. He injured his hand from what I could see. I'm not a doctor, but breaking your hand is a really common occurrence in this competitive world. And it looked broken to me, and I told him, maybe you should go to a hospital. He said no. I said, okay. I assumed he would tell Jeremy that his hand was badly injured or possibly broken. He didn't. On the day of the incident, 3 days later, after it had happened, Jeremy texted me, and he told me that he's practicing, he's canceling practice because of his injury. And I said, why would you let Barry joust with a broken hand? He was not aware of that. I assumed he had told him, but he did not.
All right, good witness, very good. Well, you're one of the better witnesses I've had. And you look more distinguished than them as an English gentleman. I know you are supposed to represent that, but not really look like that. But that's the career or the Renaissance stage. Doesn't he look more like Robin Hood than the others?
Oh, yeah.
Like Earl Flynn. Earl Flynn, handsome guy. Earl Flynn played Robin Hood. Had the handsome guy, had the hair laid out. Squire, I'm going to promote you. What's the next step up from Squire?
To be a knight.
To be a knight?
Yeah.
And that's usually, those promotions are made by whom?
Other knights.
Only other knights. Who was above the knight?
Well, that would be like a board of...
Judge. All right. You're a squire. You're a knight now. I'm above the knights. I'm above them all.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're the knight now. Good man. Good man. What you have to say?
Your Honor, as I was saying, I did not know that my hand was broken at the time. We were practicing. It is true that I fell off the horse and I hurt myself, but I want to be a great knight someday. To be a great knight, you have to train. This isn't something you can look up on the internet.
Great knight wouldn't train with a broken hand.
As I was saying, you have to learn from someone who knows what they're doing. Knights compete with injuries all the time. I have seen Sir Jeremy compete with a broken hand before and win, and I didn't even know that my hand was broken at the time of the incident. I just thought that I had hurt myself, but you get hurt doing this sport. That's just a fact. I can't go to the hospital every time that I bump my head or get a scratch. So we assume the risks of participating in a dangerous sport.
There you go, dangerous sport. And no, you assume the risk of being negligent when you participate in a dangerous sport. As if, an example being, if you have a dangerous dog, if you have a pit bull, you assume the risk of being sued if that dangerous dog bites someone. You don't usually assume that risk with a poodle because the poodle rarely and is not considered a dangerous dog. So if a poodle bites someone, well, that was a poodle acting out of character. But if a pit bull bites someone, well, you had a dangerous animal. It's classified as such. So you had a dangerous animal that you could not control enough to prevent from biting. So you were, as you say, in a dangerous sport. And therefore, everything has to be done correctly. And no, you should not engage in battle. I don't believe that you should engage in a dangerous activity involving combat battle knowing that you're injured, because there's an increased likelihood that you'll hurt somebody. And so I'm going to grant your judgment, sir. 2850.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All rise.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $2,850.
15 years, ma'am. Let me know when you want to go to rehab. Otherwise, I think you're a crackhead.
Absolutely not.
My goal is to inspire others to overcome their obstacles. You don't need him and his little raggedy roommate.
Thank you.
All while having a little fun on Mathis Court. You look like you're ready to lie right the first word out your mouth. This is Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Arnold Barclay is suing Desmond Pierce in the amount of $962.32. Mr. Barclay claims he hired a magician for his daughter's birthday party and says the talentless trickster broke his watch during a gag that went bad.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may be seated.
State your names.
Arnold Barclay.
All right, sir.
Desmond Pierce.
All right. And, sir, you are suing the defendant for $962.32. You say he shattered your watch?
Yes, sir.
All right. Start with you.
Well, I was having a sweet 16 birthday for my daughter. It's a big thing for my family. You know, got the food going. I had a DJ and a magician. So anyway, at the party, I hired the magician. He shows up, steals my watch.
Well, tell me, hold on. He showed up and stole your watch. Before we get there, tell me how you came to, you came into the knowledge of his services.
I had a neighbor who lives in the community tell me about him. And so, you know, I kind of researched a little bit, went online. He had decent reviews. You know, I knew he's kind of a jokester. He likes to do comic with his magic tricks. I told him when we talked just to come over, go from group to group with people at the party, do your little card tricks, and that's it.
That's what I did.
How much?
It was $500 for 5 hours. He got paid $100 an hour.
And that's the extent of it. Do card tricks and whatever other magic trick he wanted to perform. There was no specifics regarding his performance. You didn't say wear a wig and flip over and come back with a rabbit. You didn't have any specifics.
The comedy and the jokes I was fine with. But the problem is the man sucked.
No, I'm saying up front, did you have any specific type of routines?
I've got it in the contract and on my website landing page.
Let's see it, please, Amir.
I do sleight of hand tricks.
Sleight of hand. Well, I hope this is the real evidence. You ain't let him put a move on you, did you? You say you
I didn't see anything.
You say you got the sleight of hand move. All right, go ahead.
Yeah,
what does it say? So I don't have to read it all.
Yeah, I do what I call anti-tricks, where I'm setting up like I'm doing an actual trick, but the joke is I don't actually do anything.
The joke is I got a broken watch.
It goes over well most of the time. Everybody else there was loving it.
Were other people laughing?
Everybody was in stitches. I was doing great. I mean, I'm willing to admit when I fail a show, but I was doing good here. I was on my game. I was feeling good. Looked at this guy.
How did you coordinate? How do you coordinate comedy and magic?
I'm doing it, I'm making jokes.
Okay.
A lot of people describe me here as dad jokey.
And it's part of the distraction, I assume, so that you can perform the magic.
Yeah.
If you have them laughing at you, they don't see you making the sleight of hand moves.
Exactly.
Your Honor, he didn't do that many tricks. He's corny as can be.
That's in your opinion. He said everybody there was falling out laughing.
Yeah.
All on the floor, rolling around.
He don't know how to read a crowd.
I brought a
He
witness.
said you don't know how to read a crowd.
I brought a witness with me today.
Let me stand up, sir. State your name.
Hello, Your Honor. I'm Mitch Portman, and I'm neighbors with the plaintiff. I was at the table across.
Now, what type of watch was it?
It's a nice watch.
I have the restored watch
What
right
is
here. I have this is a Eterna. Very expensive, valuable watch that was given to me by my father.
Eterna?
Yeah, Eterna.
Amir's a watch, man. He got these rich friends that wear that type of stuff. Where is that? I wear the basic I wear the Rolex, the whatever. Okay, this looks like a Rolex, but it's not. This looks like a Bolex. I don't know about no Interma. We'll look at that later.
All right.
You ever heard of Interma?
I have not.
Uh-oh, you're in trouble. Amir know about every rich watch.
Invoice on the picture.
All right, let's see that, please. There you go. Now, I'm saying that to say he the only one look like he can afford an expensive watch. He's sharp. Got his glasses. Both of them. None one of y'all look like y'all can afford no watch like this.
Well, thank you, sir.
You laid to the bone. Uh-oh, I do see that crack. Mm-hmm. All right, sir. This is relatively expensive, but thought we were talking,
It's just sentimental value.
$5,000, $10,000, $20,000 watches, which some folks who can't afford them buy. Others who could afford them, they use them as investment vehicles. You all should know. When you see a person, some folks who spend, when you read about them spending 50, 100 or more thousand on a watch, it's typically an investment if it's a person who practices financial literacy.
Back with a case of Arnold Barclay, who was suing Desmond Pierce for property damage.
What happened? Why are you suing him about it? I see it shattered, and that's what your lawsuit is about, but what did he do?
He wants to pull a grand finale off, right?
It wasn't the grand finale.
So he wants to take the watch without me knowing. And he did. I did not know. I see across the room, I see my watch, it's on his wrist, and I'm hot, okay? I went after him, didn't touch him, but when he saw me coming, he puts the watch out. I went to grab it. Dude drops it on the floor, and it breaks that crystal coating on the face of that watch.
Let me hear from you.
932.
Yes, so
well,
you
sir,
were a witness.
I was at the table, and just before this happened, the magician, he came up to me. He did a sleight of hand trick with me where he cleaned my glasses, and next thing I knew, he's handing me my wallet. So he told us that he took Arnold's watch.
There's a wallet
and
break
the
when it
table,
drops?
all of us were just giggling, waiting for Arnold to notice, and then Arnold noticed. He got red in the face. He yelled a word I can't repeat in your court here, sir, and he rushed.
Why did you get upset? You saw he had it, and you knew he was pulling sleight of hand tricks. That I would fall out laughing. Man, did you see what he just did? The guy looked at me and he's across there with my watch. Oh my God, pay him double.
No, Your
Just pay him double.
Honor, when I saw that watch was missing, I panicked, man.
But when you found out where it was, why were you angry?
This Townsend hack was boring me to death even before that. When I saw his watch,
that doesn't sound boring to me. That sounds like I'm going to hire you. That's what that sounds like. Are you here in Los Angeles?
Yes, I am.
All right, we got some birthdays coming up with my grandchildren. I don't care what you say, and you can take my watches all you want.
Thank you.
And I'll buy a little cover if that's what it needs, because that's all you need, sir. It's a cover.
My good neighbor Mitch over here, dropping a wallet is not the same as dropping a watch. The wallet you could pick back up.
That's why I want to hear from you. What happened, the transaction with the watch, to see whose fault it was.
Sure. I'm being very overt that I have the watch. I want him to know. This is the reveal.
The trick.
It was my left hand. Was closest to him. And he's coming at me. And his hands were up. And I thought he was going to hit me. And so, reflex, hands in front of my face, that's when I dropped the watch.
Are you a witness to that?
Your Honor, I can attest that he did drop the watch, but I believe it was solely because he was aggressive.
Did you see him coming?
Never laid a finger.
Did you see him coming toward?
Oh yeah, we all saw
Did
him
it look
coming.
hostile?
Oh yes.
And you said it, sir. You said you were upset.
But I never touched the man. Ever.
I know, but if you don't have to, well, he doesn't have, he shouldn't wait on you to bust him in the face before he reacts.
But Your Honor, he took that watch without my consent.
He took it as part of what you hired him to do. You hired him to take it without your consent. Just like he did the other folks at the party, which is fascinating as I listen. I hope you can do some of that at our party. Don't come there and mess up.
Yeah.
You can even drop my watch.
You
You better make
money.
them little kids laugh.
Oh,
Save your money, Your Honor.
Kids love me.
Save my money.
Save your money. Unless you don't like laughing.
This is the first time I've gotten a complaint like this in 15 years of doing this.
Are you kidding me?
I requested his information. I thought it was a great show.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Just based on what you've described.
Yes,
Let
sir.
alone you saw it going down. This is what I'm going to do. You want $962. I believe you were part of the cause. And as such, we refer to in the law contributory negligence, meaning that you contributed to the damage of your own watch. How did you contribute to the damage? You rushed up on the man, you frightened him. However, being a professional, when you saw him coming, you should have said, I'm kidding, don't do something to mitigate the circumstance. You didn't.
And Your Honor, why doesn't he have insurance? This guy's taking stuff off people.
I've never
he
needed
can't
it.
even
I've
get
never
this.
needed it. This has never been a problem.
You take stuff from people,
and it always
you
comes
don't
back
have
the
insurance.
way I took it.
That's
you
crazy.
want $962.36. I'm going to give you $600 as a judgment, sir, because I believe you contributed to this negligence. All right? Good luck to you. I'm serious. I'm going to have the staff get your number. Because we're going to have Amir's, we're going to have his 16th, sweet 16th birthday. And we're going to perform that.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff.
All rise.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $600.
With Judge Mathis.
Cynthia Reynolds is suing Charles Williams in the amount of $2,854. Miss Reynolds claims her grandson's deadbeat dad agreed to buy a car for the teen and says the lemon the defendant bought has cost her thousands.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may be seated. Judge, both litigants have been sworn in.
Thank you. State your name.
Cynthia Reynolds.
Sir?
Charles Williams.
All right, Ms. Reynolds, you're suing the defendant for $2,854, alleging he owes you for repairs you made to the clunker he gave your grandson, you allege. All right, start with you. Give me some background on this.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. I made a deal with Mr. Williams. He's my son-in-law, and his son, my grandson, has been living with me for the last 10 years. Made a deal with him to let him use a federal tax credit for the child because the grandchild, Brian, has started living with him, and in return he would buy
Hold on.
car.
What do you mean you let him use the tax credit?
He asked if he could use the tax credit, and in return he would buy.
But that's income based, and it's not. That's income based, isn't it? Tax credit?
Yes. It was a $3,000
Did he qualify based on his income?
Well, he said he did.
Okay.
He claimed he did, and that in return he would buy his son, my grandson, a car. But it turned out to be a clunker, and I had to put in repairs right away, major repairs, not just maintenance, for $2,854.
Sir, tell me about this agreement regarding the tax credit.
Sure. Cynthia is saying that I didn't honor our agreement because I didn't use the money from my son, which is not true. I used the money to buy my son the car that's this case is about. And I had a little bit of money left over, which I used because Brian, my son, was staying with me for some time. So I needed that money for food, I needed that money for school supplies, so and so forth.
How much was it, estimate?
For the food
things you use outside of the agreement?
Sure, about $1,000.
$1,000 did not go toward car as agreed to. All right. And ma'am, what is your claim regarding the repairs that or the purchase and the necessary repairs? What is your claim?
My claim is we had a deal that he would take the tax credit and buy a car with it. But the car that he bought needed $2,854 of repairs right away.
And he spent $1,000 of it on things he should have already been buying for his son. What do you mean you needed the money? You took the money that she gave for a car to buy milk for the baby.
Well,
that's essentially what you're saying. So why wouldn't you buy the milk on your own, sir? Why do you have to get money from somebody to buy milk for your son?
Sure.
My point is, you said, I spent $1,000 on these other items to care for my child. Well, you wouldn't be caring for your child unless she gave you $1,000? Is that what you're saying? You're the one that's owed child support. Give me some history on this. You're saying he just got back with his son? Give me some history on the son and he.
My daughter, his wife, died when the grandson Brian was 7 years old, and so he's lived with me for the last 10 years.
Why didn't he live with his dad?
Because my opinion of his father was that he was immature.
That's your opinion. What about the law's opinion? The law says he stays with his other parent. Why? How did you come to violate the law? Or did he agree?
He took off and gave me his son to take care of.
He abandoned his son.
He abandoned his son.
It's not so much like that, Your Honor.
How is it? She says you abandoned your son. Run off on it.
Sure. Of course, any parent who leaves, it's a terrible, terrible thing. And I'm not saying I haven't made some mistakes in my lifetime, Your Honor. I definitely have. I was a teenager when we had the kid. Financially, I was way over my head. It's not an excuse. I should have stayed. But what happened was eventually, and the reason why I started being around my son again is I thought I want to make up for, some of the bad deeds that I did in my past.
How long had you been out of his life?
A while, about 7 years.
Coming up on Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
To him or the parent or his mother. Or his mother had passed, reach out to him or her in those 7 years?
No, and the other reason is,
why?
Your Honor, sure, exactly, yes. I'd always found that this family was very controlling, very much. They needed to be the one who was taking care of Brian. Whenever I tried to,
why didn't you need to be the one to take care of your own son? What do you mean they needed to be the one?
Yes, financially, I couldn't do it.
Why wasn't you in his life emotionally then?
I should have been, Your Honor, but I felt whenever I tried to emotionally be in his life that the family would
give me an
not
example.
Let me. Sure, exactly. Well, one time I was talking to my son, he felt lost, and I was trying to be a good father and say, you need to get a job, a girlfriend. He would say yes, and I would hear about some things that he would do, but then, for example, they would say no, or they would try to not have that happen.
How old is he?
He's 17 now.
Go ahead, sir.
That's when that's when he got the car.
Is he out of high school yet?
No, he's in his last year of high school.
How you gonna have a minor take care of their own responsibilities and they're in high school, and the responsibility in this case comes out to thousands of dollars? What about your responsibility?
I do have responsibility.
So what have you been giving to that child? When did you come back into his life? Let's start there.
3 years ago, Your Honor.
And he was 14. In fact,
was more like 1 year ago.
Hold on, ma'am.
Sorry.
Have you paid any child support?
Up until that point, no.
In the last 3 years, you haven't paid anything? Is that your point?
Yes.
Why?
Your Honor. Financially, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. It was a mistake, but I couldn't do it financially. I had a very hard time finding a job. When I found a job.
How long have you worked in the last 3 years? How often? If you aggregated it, how many months or years in the last 3 years have you worked?
Sure. About 24 months.
So you've worked the overwhelming majority of the last 3 years.
Right.
So why couldn't you pay the child support? If you worked the overwhelming amount of time over the last 3 years, yet you've paid zero. And then you come in here with that, you know what you need to be doing? Apologizing for and saying, I'm a deadbeat dad. I'm sorry I was a deadbeat dad. I'm sorry I didn't even fight hard enough to see my son for 7 years. That's what you need to be saying.
I didn't want to give the opinion that I hadn't been. I had been. Like,
had been what?
What you said, sir? Like
what? I said a few things. You had been what?
Yeah, apologizing, saying.
I said no. That's not what you need to be doing. You need to be apologizing to yourself, not to anybody else, and to him. Ma'am, how does he owe you? However,
it was in disrepair, Your Honor, and I had to spend $2,854 right away for major repairs. And if he had been more responsible and more mature, he would have bought a car that was working and running.
Yeah, well, he met his end of the bargain, and that is bought a car.
Yes, sir, he did.
That's what he agreed to do. He bought the car, and the car was in disrepair, or came to disrepair.
It was right away in this disrepair.
And did you call him right away?
Yes, I did. I let him know that it was needing repairs, and what was he going to do about it, and he didn't really reply.
He was just silent on the phone?
He was silent. Well, I think I left him a voicemail.
So you didn't talk to him?
I didn't talk to him.
So the voicemail would make you silent, wouldn't it? That makes sense.
Yes.
That make a lot of sense. I think you're lying. Let's laugh together. You're lying.
I left him a voicemail saying this is a clunker.
First you talked to him. I know.
Give me a call back.
10 seconds ago you had talked to him directly and he didn't answer. Tried to make a fool. You thought you could make a fool out of me until I made sense of the fact that I'm sure you wouldn't be on the phone talking to someone and they say absolutely zero. $1,000, sir, that you spent on something other than what you were given the money for is all you owe today. I'll grant you $1,000. You gave him the total amount to purchase a car, which could have been a better car had he used that $1,000 on the car instead of on the caretaking for the son that you never took care of anyway. So $1,000 is your judgment, ma'am. Anything else beyond receiving the gift, that's all he agreed to do, is make the gift. Once the gift is complete, he has nothing else to do with it. And unfortunately, you got a bad dad. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff, $1,000.
All rise.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $1,000.
Do you two have any final words?
Ethan Gregory is suing Michael Tommins in the amount of $347.30. Mr. Gregory claims he left his headphones at the defendant's vacation rental and says after Mr. Tommins found them, they disappeared again.
State your name.
Your Honor, my name is Ethan Gregory. I'm originally from Los Angeles.
Did nobody ask you all that? I don't care where you from.
Okay.
State your name, sir.
My name is Michael Tommins.
All right. Give me some background on you.
Sure. I'm suing the defendant. He is the landlord that I rented the property from. It was a 1-bed, 1-bath rental unit. The issue was not during the stay. The issue is once I realized that my beautiful headphones were misplaced, I texted him, the landlord, and he told me that the cleaning lady found them and that he had them and he was going to leave them in the front of the house in the left bush of the property. And I was like, okay, fine. I will come and pick them up, even though he said he was going to be there all day.
Now you get into a problem. Leave them in the bushes. Go ahead.
And I actually didn't make it until 9:30, and when I got there, they were nowhere to be found. So they went from lost to found to being lost again.
Or stolen.
Or stolen.
Well, certainly, sir. You put those earphones, you put it in an open and obvious location for any stranger to have access to it. Anybody.
Your Honor, he was missing these earbuds for 3 days before he contacted me to begin with. 6 months before the plaintiff's stay, I changed my policy that I'm no longer responsible for lost items. The reason for this is I used to get everything I could find for everybody. It was a full-time job for me. Okay? You know, if I found things, I was a hero.
I think I left my underwear over there. Did you change it in writing? Do I have something in writing
I
saying
do.
the policy? Let me see it, please, Amir.
And if you read it, it says I'm not responsible for any lost items. And it also says if they are stolen, I'm not responsible.
Your Honor, I am aware of the rules, which I saw on the rental website, and I was okay with it. The only reason I'm pressing charges is because he found them. So I feel like once he found them, his rules did not apply.
He assumed responsibility.
Yeah.
That's your legal theory.
Yes, thank you.
It's a relatively sound legal theory, with the exception that if he was really a good Samaritan,
you can say
good
that.
Samaritans shouldn't be prosecuted. The law. We also have a sound law. We use the example in the law of a doctor riding down the street. He sees somebody in distress. He stops to help, but he's unsuccessful. We're going to prosecute him? It's a good Samaritan. He's trying to do what he could. His efforts just failed. He had no responsibility. You knew that. But the good Samaritan, when you called him, said, okay, I'll look. He could have said, well, I ain't got nothing to do with it. Don't call me about that mess. Yeah, he could have said that. And he wouldn't owed you a dime. He was a good Samaritan trying to do right by you. They were you lost them. He didn't lose anything. You lost them. You have lost your own items. You were negligent. He wasn't negligent. Judge Mathis. So, sir, that's the law. And you have a right to believe, and you're close to the law. You just forgot the exception to that law. And the exception is the Good Samaritan law. Somebody tries to help you get out of a jam, and they have no responsibility to help you.
But it is his property.
All merchants are not nice people. He is, however.
Not from my experience. I need those headphones for work. I have very bad hearing, and I need them.
Where you work, sir? Hold on. Let him floss again. You know he like to talk big. Let him talk big. Okay. Go ahead. What you need? Where do you work?
I work from home for a very big streaming company.
I knew it had to be big. You know, he don't do nothing little. That's right. I like that about you.
And I need to hear every single word that my coworkers and anybody from higher up has to say, so I don't get in trouble.
The only problem with that is, if you're so big, you don't need that $347, and your claim is dismissed. He was doing a favor for you as a good Samaritan, and just because he's failed, you cannot sue a good Samaritan. Have a good day. Claim is dismissed.
All rise.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been dismissed.
Do you have any last words for each other?
No.
The judgment's music to my ears. You know, as my housing policy states, I'm not responsible for any lost or stolen items.
I believe in Yelp reviews, and you're going to get a bad one.
Denise Bryson is suing Gary Lambert in the amount of $1,200. Ms. Bryson claims she built a she shed on her property and says it fell apart when her cousin moved it without her permission.
All right, ma'am. You are suing the defendant?
Correct.
For damage to a shed?
She shed.
And how do you all know each other?
We're cousins.
Oh, cousins. Okay.
When I built my she shed on my property, you know, it is a place where I go, where I can read, where I can actually relax. It's a place where, you know, I'm able to do my yoga and meditate, and I needed time away from my boys. I have 2 teenage sons, and there's a lot of masculine energy in the house. So I built my she shed on my property so that I have an opportunity to just get away from everything. I also collect lunch boxes. They're old vintage lunch boxes, and all of that is in my she shed. And when he decided to move it, he moved it off the foundation.
Without your permission?
Without my permission. He moved it off the foundation.
It's on
all
my
of the
property.
stuff, excuse me, I'm not finished. All of the stuff, when he moved my shed, fell onto the floor. Not only are my items are damaged, which are collectible vintage items, those items are very expensive. And so not only are those items damaged,
I had to pay to get a whole new foundation put on. I had to pay for that as well as put my shed on top of the foundation.
Did he admit to doing it
first? He did admit to doing that.
Why did he say, let me hear from him?
I told her many times that I don't want that there. She never had permission to put that shed there. And I also had a surveyor prove to me that it's on my property by 2 feet.
What does that do to your life? You not having that 2 feet. We know what it does for her life. What does it do to you? To your life?
It infringes on my rights.
What does it do to your life? How does it affect your feeling, your wherewithal, your life's being? How does it affect your being?
She never had the permission to put that thing there anyway. It's ugly.
So it's all about your ego being hurt,
it's not about
that she
ego.
has 2 feet of your property that you have no intention of using.
I wouldn't consider it ego. That's your opinion, Judge.
It is, in my opinion, is the most important opinion. So let's get back to the specifics.
He actually got the property surveyed after the fact that I placed my shed on the property. And again,
prior to removing it?
Yes,
prior
correct.
to moving it. He went out of his way to try and scrutinize that little property line to see if where his property was versus yours.
Yes. I have results from a surveyor here.
All right, let me see the results. I'm sure you do, and I'm sure they're accurate. So, ma'am, it does look like you are 2 feet into his property. But did you notify her that you were going to move her property?
No, I didn't.
What made you think you could do it without notice?
I thought the right was incurred since the property does legally belong to me.
How will Judge Mathis rule? Find out when Mathis Court returns.
You're watching Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Promotional consideration provided by...
A truck is a tool, but a Ram is life. It's the let's load up the ATV's life. The my kids play way too many sports life. The let's find a secret spot to fish life. Nice. Discover how Ram powers all the lives you live during Ram Power Days.
During Ram Power Days, get 4,000 retail consumer cash allowance on most 2023 Ram 1500 trucks. See your Ram dealer today.
If you have moderate to severe Crohn's disease, Skyrizi is the first and only IL-23 inhibitor that can deliver clinical remission and endoscopic improvement.
Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, had a vaccine, or plan to. Liver problems may occur in Crohn's disease.
Control of Crohn's means everything to me. Ask your gastroenterologist about Skyrizi. Learn how AbbVie could help you save.
This is Mathis Court with Judge Mathis. It was a dispute until she determined that you were correct, or until a judge determined that you were correct. You had no right without notice to grab her property and move it without being clear with her why you were doing it. You touched her property. Your land is not the same as her property.
I told her on December 20th, something like that, last year.
That you didn't want it there?
Yes.
So if you've known for over a year, you should have given her notice that you were going to move it. Instead, you waited till she left town, and like a thief in the night, you came in and damaged her property by attempting to move it. Now, it is his property, those 2 feet, but he has removed your item, so that's resolved at the tune of $1,200. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff.
All rise.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $1,200.
However, I was right, in the fact that you did move my property without my permission. You should have asked me.
I didn't think that I had to ask you to move it because it was not my property to begin with. And I told you many times I didn't want it there.
Let me know when you want to go to rehab. Otherwise, I think you're a crackhead.
Absolutely not.
My goal is to inspire others to overcome their obstacles. You don't need him and his little raggedy roommate.
Thank you.
All while having a little fun on Mathis Court. You look like you ready to lie right the first word out your mouth. This is Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Alexis Becker is suing Zora Wang in the amount of $540. Ms. Becker claims she wanted her bridal party to have relaxing mani-pedis and says the pampering was ruined by the salon owner's impromptu off-key crooning.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may be seated. Judge, both litigants have been sworn in.
Thank you. State your name.
Alexis Becker.
Ma'am.
Zora Wang.
All right, Ms. Becker, you're suing Ms. Wayne for $540 for ruining your bridal party's manicure experience.
Yes.
Start
indeed
with you.
All right. So, I recently got married a little while back on May 6th, and on May 4th, I decided to take...
Boy, that you must not be too particular about that marriage. Most folks, when they get married, they say it seems like yesterday. You just said, I got married a long time ago and it was in May, which is like a few months ago. To you, Yana, I've been married forever. So, has it been a long time or has it been a short? Has May long to you within your marriage or has it been a short time?
It feels like it happened just yesterday.
There you go.
Okay. Anyway, a few days before my wedding, my entire bridal party was able to fly out so they could see me and we could celebrate together. I had my wedding in Wichita, Kansas, where I live. And they come out. There are 8 of my bridesmaids. We all went to college together. Go WSU. Delta, Delta, Delta. Anyway, we became best friends then. We decided everyone would be there on Thursday. So I've decided I'm going to treat us all to mani-pedis. Reasonable, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm calling a ton of different places, and I'm seeing if they can accommodate my party of 9. I know it's last
You
minute.
have 9 bridesmaids?
I have 8 bridesmaids, but
Okay,
I am a
including
9th
you
person.
tonight.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I call them up. There are several places that say they cannot accommodate us. I understand why that might be a little difficult, but still.
Because she was difficult.
But
Well,
still.
how do you know she was difficult when she inquired?
Even her inquiring with me was difficult.
Okay.
I owned a very high-end salon. I've been in
Owned?
business.
Did you lose your business?
No, I haven't. You're going to end up losing your husband. You keep that attitude. I own a very high-end business. I've been in business for over 15 years.
Mazel tov.
My products are high-end. They're not your typical nail polish. I offer service beyond just nail service. I do waxing, we do facials. So we're not just your typical nail salon. And this drama queen...
What do you mean? You wax your face or wax your hand? Or
wax whatever you want wax that has hair. We're a full-service salon, full-service nail salon, but we do add a little extra. And
I don't think
we
you're
even
being
offer...
totally transparent with me. Y'all do a little something else in there, waxing.
We wax what's legal.
I know, but I want you to say it. Y'all,
Okay, we wax what's legal.
No, you wax body parts that are considered private.
That too, if that's what you want, wax.
I want you to say it. That's what I wanted to hear. Go ahead.
So she calls me, high issues, constant questions, wanting stuff that normal clients doesn't even ask.
Now, this was special, though. What did she ask out of the normal?
Well, she wanted to see if we can offer champagne. I'm not a bar. I'm a nail salon. She wanted all the nails and pedicure done at once. I don't have enough station to accommodate that. But what I did accommodate, and I made it very clear, that we would break them in half. We would half do manicure, half pedicure. When they're done, they will swap. And at the end of the day, everyone will have a manicure, pedicure. So I provided the service that she wanted. She didn't want to be rushed, so I made sure there was space for them.
So why are you suing her today?
I would love to be able to talk about that.
Go right ahead.
So, as she mentioned, yes, I was very aware of the we are going to be split off into groups. We had an email exchange about it.
Let me see that. You want to hand that to me?
I would be honored.
Go ahead.
She informs me in her responding email, yes, she can accommodate us. She can give us a big party discount. How spectacular. Great. This 5-star reviewed place where I read some of the reviews, it talked about there being a special surprise, which is why I inquired about the champagne. I'm not
I actually have a copy of those wonderful reviews that are 5 stars that's mentioned about my salon.
I'll look at them
And
shortly.
none of them mention the thing that I'm going to in a moment. So, I'm getting my manicure, 4 of my bridesmaids are getting their pedicures. Zora exits. I start hearing what can only be described as the sound of a donkey being skinned alive.
Was that you talking?
What are you talking about?
She thinks
she was
really
hearing
fun.
herself.
Anyway, the sound was dreadful.
Just like we're hearing right now.
Sound from where? The radio?
Sound from, it's a song, and I figured it would be the radio. I was like, how did this person get a record deal? This is ear blood.
What was it?
What it was Miss Zora walks out with the microphone in hand, and it's her wailing. So I say to her,
That's the surprise. You had been informed that there was going to be a surprise.
I went out of my way.
Let her finish and tell me how she felt about that surprise.
I was incredibly uncomfortable, as were my bridesmaids, visibly.
Why?
Because it was an awful sound. It would be different.
Ma'am, you can't sing?
Her bridesmaids were singing along and smiling.
They were not.
They were singing louder so they didn't have to hear you.
I think they didn't want to hear her talking.
Ma'am, if all of them start singing at the same time like a choir, they were trying to drown you out. I don't know if you know that or not.
We were all singing and praying she would just stop talking and being demanding and being rude.
Can you sing or not?
I sure can.
Where do you learn how to sing? You've been training, or you just do it as a hobby?
It just comes naturally,
and you've been
and that's
told
why
that
I
you
have
can
clients
sing.
who keep coming because they enjoy it. They sing along. So I can even sing it for you if you like.
Yes,
Sing
go
you a
ahead.
sample of the song.
Go right
Okay.
ahead.
I would love this.
You brought love to me, baby, you see. I'm crazy for you.
Yeah, that's going to have to be a judgment for the plaintiff. No, seriously, ma'am. Somebody did tell you can sing. I'm going to be very honest.
My clients keep coming
very upfront and honest. You can't sing.
Well, I feel I could sing.
Well, you're the only one.
It's opinion.
I'm sorry. It's everybody's opinion.
I sing to kids, I sing to my
you can sing
clients.
their humor in you. So I have to keep it real. I can't sugarcoat it. And so I want you to stop singing.
But I have
So
your
I'm
review
just gonna
that
keep
gives me
it
rave
real.
reviews about my service, my singing, my salon.
Well, show me something where you say her singing. Amir, let me see something about her singing.
I'm a 5-star salon.
Yes, your salon.
And I sing in the
believe
salon.
that. I believe that wholeheartedly, that your salon is 5-star. No question in my
But
mind
there's a
about
reason
that.
why it's 5-star.
And it ain't because of your singing. I loved our experience at Nell's. It treated me like mother-in-law to her. It was so much fun. We'll be back. Place of my daughters and I love the surprise that throws in. It does give you a fight. And they did say they enjoyed the surprise. But was it the surprise of singing? They didn't say we enjoyed her singing. The surprise that you throw in makes the experience so much better. Maybe there was other people singing with you.
If it would have been an invitation, maybe we would have joined you. I did ask her
Your
at one
bridesmaid
point.
did. They were so tired of your attitude that they joined in with me.
I
Because they
promise
wanted
you-
to avoid your attitude.
I promise you that denial is not just a river in Egypt.
Okay.
Anyway, I asked her, after discovering that it was her making the sounds that were making me and my bridesmaids uncomfortable, if she could lower the volume. She proceeds to take me spitefully literally.
So I did lower the volume.
And she lowers the background music.
That's what you asked her to do. You said volume. You didn't say lower your voice. So you asked for more of the voice. Whether you knew it or not, you would say lower your voice, or could you keep that down a little, or could you turn the music up and turn your voice down?
Your Honor.
You said all you said was her turn the volume, and then what
And
happened?
she was holding a microphone. I apologize for not saying something incredibly specific to get through your
You can
thick
keep apologizing. There's more that you could apologize for. I do it as a special treat or for a special
ma'am,
client.
I know you think you could sing, but most people who can sing, they don't get sued for singing. And that's why you're here today. Not only you're being sued because you sing so
I'm
bad.
getting sued because she's trying to get out of paying I service.
I'm telling you why, though. She's saying it was just singing. If you didn't sing, we wouldn't be here today, right? That means you're being sued for singing. We hear you're getting sued because you sang. If you didn't sing, you wouldn't be sued. What don't you understand about that?
I'm getting sued for a service I offered at my
Yes, the
salon.
singing part is the lawsuit. She said everything else was fine. And she told you and implied to you that you were disrupting her experience by asking you to turn it down. And instead, you're going to turn up your voice, believing that you can sing. And you clearly demonstrated in here today that you can't hold a note. And so I'm going to grant you your judgment because she made it uncomfortable for you. You asked her to stop or to turn it down. And she did not alter the music in a way that was satisfactory. Did she say to you, is that good enough?
She did not.
Correct, and that's what a reasonable person would do. Have a good day, judgment for the plaintiff.
All rise.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $540 to house and says Ms. Gorman is to blame because she failed to supervise the boys.
State your name.
Beth Scott.
Ma'am.
Danielle Gorman.
All right, and you are suing the defendant for $6,570, alleging she owes this money as a result of your son being injured on a dirt bike.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Start with you.
Sure, okay. The boys had a day off from school for parent-teacher.
How long have you known Ms. Gorman?
The boys have been in school together since kindergarten, so about 5 years.
5 years, and you've known her since then?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Yes. She was kind enough to watch the boys during the day while they had a parent-teacher conference. I work in an office, so I'm not at home. She said she would keep the boys for us during the day and just let them hang out in her yard like they always do.
Your son ever been in any trouble?
My son?
Yes, ma'am.
No, Your Honor, never any trouble.
Okay, how old is your child?
He's 10 in 5th grade.
Teachers never had to talk to you about disciplining your child?
No, sir.
How about you?
Ethan has been a great kid. He has never gotten in trouble. He's a very well-mannered
And you
boy.
haven't had problems with him with behavior either at home?
No, I haven't.
Okay, good enough. Go ahead.
Well, the boys were at the house playing, and they ended up slipping into the garage. And he knows I don't like him in there anyway. They have some pretty dangerous tools, like some saws lying around.
Your son knows you don't like him in the garage?
That's correct, Your Honor. He knows. And Ethan has a dirt bike, and the boys pushed the dirt bike out to the track behind the house in the woods, about a quarter mile-ish or so from the house. And Ryan is not allowed to do things like that. He's
I know, he breaks your rules.
These two have been friends since they met. And this is not the first time they've been over at the house. I guess they got into the garage and...
Have you ever told your child not to go into the garage without permission?
Well, you know, there's an entrance to the garage through the house, so it's kind of impossible, but...
No, I said, have you ever told him? It is possible if they obey. Why weren't you watching them close enough so that they wouldn't get a quarter of a mile away? Because you had to have looked, or you had a duty to look at least every 5 minutes to see what 10-year-olds are doing. So between the time they left the garage and the time they were a little less than a quarter of a mile away, she says a quarter of a mile away, 5 minutes had expired. And you should have been able to say, I don't see them. Let me go out here and see what's going on.
I was on a conference call.
Okay.
At working from home.
That's more important then, I got it.
And I can see the whole yard from upstairs. And we also have a rec room. I figured they went in there. They love to play video games all the time.
How long had you seen him prior to them being a quarter mile away?
Maybe 10 minutes. They are 10-year-old boys, and I knew they were outside.
You just said you thought they were in the room playing video games. Now you're changing it. Now you're saying you knew they were outside. They were in the room. I knew they were in the room playing video games. I was about to go downstairs and fix some lunch. Judge, they were outside.
How will Judge...
Hey, why do you think she owes you, ma'am?
Well, Ryan got on the bike and off the first jump fell. The bike landed on him and he broke his femur. I do have the bill for evidence.
See it, Amir. This is a relatively easy case, ma'am. They were under your authority, and you were negligent in supervising them. You even lied about it just now. You said they were in the house, so much so that you're about to go down and fix some lunch. Then suddenly, boom, they were outside, where you were so negligent in your supervision that they end up being a quarter of a mile from the house without you knowing, without you checking. Judgment for the plaintiff. Negligent supervision.
All rise.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $6,570.
It pays to be safe.
I'm so sorry that this happened, but I don't think it's my fault.
You can head this way. Grab your belongings.
Okay, thank you.
$50.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may be seated.
Mr. Arnold claims he planned an elaborate date with Ms. Wright and says the defendant canceled at the last minute, so he was stuck with a helicopter ride.
State your name.
Jack Arnold.
Ma'am?
Anna Wright.
All right, sir, you're suing the defendant for $450, alleging she owes you this money for canceling a date?
That's correct.
All right, let's start with you. What do you want to tell me?
My wife died about 8 years ago, and I've been alone. And one of my granddaughters suggested that I find somebody to date. And I didn't want to go on a site because I don't trust them. And my church was having a speed dating event, so I went, and I met her.
What did you understand speed dating to mean?
You'd sit and talk to somebody for 5 minutes, and then you'd go and talk to somebody else, and then we keep switching, and then hopefully somebody would.
That's called being a player, and hoping that you come up.
Well,
play the law of averages.
No such luck, actually.
Like when the guys go in the club, they hit on everything they can until they hope that one of them give in.
Well,
so that's all you were doing. You were just doing the church
but I was trying to meet somebody. And
all
that's
right.
the purpose of it. And the women were trying to meet somebody too.
There you go.
So Anna and I sort of hit it off. I thought she was the prettiest girl
Out
there.
of how many ladies had you spoken to?
About 6.
And she was the best of the 6.
Yeah, in my opinion.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Why are you so mean over there? You hear that compliment?
I did hear it. I
You should
accept
be
it, and I'm
smiling.
grateful. However, there's more story behind that followed up.
Well, let me start with Judy, and let me get over to the juicy stuff.
So yes, I did meet the plaintiff at that event. And so we did see each other in the neighborhood for a time.
What did you like about him?
He seemed to have a good sense of humor. He had a charm about him, would be, I guess, a word I'll use. Whether it was a fake charm or not, I wasn't able to tell at that time.
So, as you spoke and when things progressed, outside of this, any problems, anything you began to dislike about him?
Well, the one thing that happened is that he did ask me out then on an actual, what we could call a date, if you will. And he took me, I said, fine, I accepted. I looked forward to it. I just dressed nicely, as I often do. I wear a suit very often at certain things, and this was to be a nighttime dinner. And so it ended up, he came and picked me up and drove to what I would call a chain restaurant, if you will. And I felt like this was not what I had imagined would be in his view. I don't eat at the various chains.
Thank you. I can tell that. That's
Thank you.
And she's not a woman of that ilk. I don't know what you think you had.
He
you
was
can look at her and see how quality of life she lives. She's sharp, has her hair laid. She has the latest fashionable, expensive glasses. Those clothes she has on are expensive.
I appreciate that compliment. I hope that I don't shout that information that I'm not approachable, because I am. But there is a certain amount of decor, and I'm looking for a chef who cooks.
That's right.
Right, and knows how to cook a good meal, a healthy meal. I wasn't expecting a chain restaurant when he invited me out.
Okay. Look at the earrings matching the blouse and the sweater. She's looking good. Watch. And the watch too, matching watch. Yeah.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Listen to her. Hey, you better do right by her. You messed up a good thing.
I thought she could overcome it. Interesting conversation, you know. I mean, the absolute possibility that you would literally not get out of a car because it's a chain restaurant.
Your Honor, may I speak?
She wouldn't even get out.
She wouldn't even get out.
Tell me, describe to me what happened.
Well, we drive up to the restaurant. She says, "I'm not getting out here." And I said, "Well, why not?" "Oh, well, what? You know, this is a restaurant for your homeboys." I said, "What the heck are you talking about?" So I drove her home.
It's not a fast food restaurant. You don't have to give me the name. It's not a fast food. Minute cancellation, but I'm hearing that you went. So was this a second date? Because what happened at the end of this date? When you wouldn't get out and he took you home, did you all the next day or latter evening talk about it? What happened from there?
Well, Judge, I asked if we couldn't go to another restaurant.
Okay.
He refused. So we just were on a different path there, and or understanding of what would be expected of a date night dinner, in my view. And so we parted company for that evening. But then there was a point where he asked me out again, and so he thought he would try again, which I honor that, and that was very kind of him, I guess I could say.
And what happened to cause you to sue on? The second date went wrong as well? How you end up suing her, though?
Well, first of all, you know, the reason why we had a second date was because my cousin, who happened
you came up with some money.
Pardon?
Your cousin gave you some money.
No, but
you came up with somehow.
She knows both of us, and she thinks we're both nice people, and she thinks we would both be a great couple. So we suggested that we, you know, try again, and so we did. We decided to go on a second date, and this time I said, okay, I'm going to do it up big. I set it up. I got a helicopter. You know, and on the helicopter, they're going to give her roses, and they're going to give her champagne.
What was the helicopter ride?
Yeah, just to go to the restaurant. Yeah.
Wow.
So it was really, you know,
$450. You'd have been better off that first one, just going to a 5-star restaurant. Now you got a helicopter to take it to the restaurant?
I decided we're going to take a shot at it and go way over the top and
okay.
And then we'll see where we're at.
So what happened?
She canceled. She called up and she had 2 hours before the helicopters take off. She calls up and says her granddaughter is sick and her daughter can't take care of her, and so she needs to take care of her, and she couldn't show up. And I said, okay, I understand. So we'll reschedule. But then a few days later, I see on social media that the same night, supposedly, that she's you know, supposed to be taking care of her granddaughter, she's out socializing.
There's somebody with some real money.
Yeah.
You short, that's all.
Yeah, she's out socializing.
Get you a woman you can afford. You can't afford
so
her.
She's not,
everything ain't for everybody.
Yeah, so she's not taking care of her granddaughter. She's out socializing.
You don't know whether these are her granddaughters or not.
The granddaughter was supposed to be 10 years old, and sick with the flu. Considering that she canceled the last minute, didn't call after canceling, canceled by texting instead of phone call, I pretty much said, okay, you know, I get the drift, and thanks for nailing me for $450, and I'm going to see if I can't get that back to teach her a lesson.
So what if she had decided her granddaughters were sick, they got better, or someone else came over to help out? She could have done that within the same night?
Actually, what happened was, first of all, she said that her daughter didn't have to go and that her daughter took care of it. And then she said that her daughter found somebody else to take care of it. That's how I know she was lying.
There's a million things in that. Go ahead, ma'am.
All right. So first of all, my granddaughter was sick. And my daughter and my granddaughter are most precious to me. My daughter works. She has no backup if something happens. I am her backup, in fact. The good news was that my granddaughter recovered. Therefore, there was no issue. and they didn't need me after all. I didn't know anything about him renting a helicopter.
Oh, you never told her that?
No.
No. It's
He
gonna be a
did.
surprise.
It was a surprise.
That's the third story she just told, by the way, that her granddaughter didn't need anybody.
Well,
you must have been doing a lot of lying at
That's
some
what I
point,
think.
because you sure can figure out a lie real easy, or so you'd think.
Well, I've had
That's a
time to think
story.
about it,
It's
and
a
she's made her
story.
deposition.
A friend, however, called and said, look, that she was having a couple people over to her house. Did I want to come on over? I thought at that point I would. I thought about whether I would call him back, but I felt that would be disrespectful.
Sir, the problem you have is that this was a gift. This wasn't a contract. A contract is an exchange that will benefit you. In other words, you have to have said, I'll take you on this helicopter ride and the dinner if you're going to give me such and such in exchange, whatever that give me might have been.
Like showing up.
No, that's not a gift for her to show up. Your claim is dismissed, sir. This wasn't a contract. This was the offer of a gift, and you did not tell her. She had no reason to think that you were spending anything more than just a dinner. She was unable to accept your gift, so you're supposed to take your gift back. Like any other man, you bring a gift to a lady, no, I can't accept that. You got to take it back, or you wasted your money, one or the other. That's the name of, that's how it goes in the dating world. And so, good luck to you, but I'm gonna have to dismiss this claim. You shouldn't have sued her. You should be trying to get back with her. Will you take him back? Go out on a date
I
with
would
him?
have second thoughts at this point, sir.
No?
I don't think so.
No, I wouldn't.
Yes, you would. Have a good day.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been dismissed.
Don't expect to see me again.
Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Roger Martinez is suing Patrick Whittle in the amount of $415.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may be seated.
Mr. Martinez claims he left his kids in his air-conditioned car for a few minutes. He says his children were terrified when Mr. Whittle smashed the window.
All right. State your name, sir.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Roger Martinez,
Sir?
and I'm
Patrick Whittle.
All right, and you are suing the defendant, Mr. Martinez, for $415, alleging he smashed your car window?
That is correct.
Start with you.
So this is really unfortunate because he broke my car window thinking he was a hero, and my kids were in the car. And honestly, we were having a great day because I took them out to the community pool. My oldest, I have two kids, 10 and 12. My oldest, he wants to be a professional swimmer. I took him to the pool. We had a great time, a lot of fun.
How old is he again?
He's 12 years old. And we had a great time. So we were there for hours, and then I took them to their favorite treat, pizza. We went to go get our usual 2 cheese, 1 pepperoni, and they were tired. We were swimming for hours. They were tired. I let them just relax in the car. And I just recently bought a brand new smart car. And one of the features of this car is that you could actually control the temperature even if the car is not on.
What type of car is that?
This is a brand spanking new smart car.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, and honestly, I'm very proud of that car. It has all these bells and whistles, and which one of them you can control.
How long did you leave your kids in the car?
Just 10, 15 minutes.
Okay.
I actually bumped
felt
into
that
an
was
old
smart.
friend.
What was the temperature?
Within the car.
I'm assuming now he smashed the window because he thought the kids were suffocating if you left them in the car, and that's why he's here suing. I mean, that's what you're suing him about, a car window. Is that what this is about?
Yes.
You're suing him about your car window being broken because your kids were in the car and he suspected something was wrong?
It goes deeper than that.
Okay.
You know, if my kids were pretty much half asleep because they were all tired. They got woken up all of a sudden because he decided to break the car window. And honestly,
because it saved their lives. That's why.
Oh, you think you're some sort of a hero now, sir?
Yeah, I do.
I don't think so.
Your kids were big to be there.
You terrorized my kids more than saved them. And it's unfortunate because I had to take them home to console them. And then,
what was the temperature? 107 degrees.
How much?
107 degrees. I saved those kids' lives.
It was 107 degrees, sir? You left your children in the car with 107 degrees with the windows up?
Yeah. Inside of my car, it was a comfortable 71 degrees. That's what the smart car does. I had to make sure that they were not.
Sir, you tell me what happened. What did you observe?
I was at the pizza place, and I observed two kids in the car, and at first they were rambunctious playing around, and then all of a sudden nothing. I didn't see anything, so I got out of my car. I was concerned. The car didn't look like it was on. There was no parents around or anything, and I saw two kids passed out. I thought they were going to die of heat stroke.
Was the car on?
The car itself was not on. The engine was not on.
Okay, so how does the temperature work without the car operating?
So it works through an app. Through the app, I was able to, through the app, I am able to control the temperature of the car.
But it's not on. Where does the air come in from?
The air conditioning system is still on.
And 107 degrees you knew to be outside, and you felt that a smart app would keep them safe. How many times had you used this app?
I've used it a couple of times.
For temperature regulation?
Yes.
All right. And sir, did you knock on the window before smashing it?
Yes, I tried the door didn't work, and I just figured there's...
No, tap on the door, tap on the window to wake the young people up.
Yes, sir, they weren't responding. And
did you tell him that?
I tried to at the...
Did he tell you that he had knocked on the window and they did not respond?
No attempt at all. He could have even walked into the pizza parlor itself to ask.
I wouldn't even know you were there.
Does anybody have any
your
kids
smartphone tells you that I'm you're inside the pizza parlor? How would I know? The car didn't tell me you were inside the pizza parlor.
You're pretending to be a hero, but yet you're not trying. A true hero would give anything, and you would go ahead and try to find out what's really going on.
I could have walked in
How many establishments were there within the, say, 50 feet of the car?
The car itself was no less than 10 feet from the establishment.
Now, how many other establishments? Like he says, he wouldn't know where you're at unless this the only establishment. Then he perhaps should do what you say. Go in and say, whose car is this? But if there's several establishments, he's not going to go establish business to business to business asking whose car is this out here. How many were there?
I only saw one other. I only saw one other.
So there was only two businesses there?
Yes, there are.
You could have walked in two businesses.
Up on Mathis.
Okay, so there were only two businesses. Why couldn't you just go in those two businesses and say, hey, we got a car out here with some kids in it, etc.?
No, I was thinking about my own daughter, and you can, heat stroke can cause anything. You can have a seizure. My daughter's got epilepsy.
Yeah,
those kids could have died.
You didn't have time to go.
Yeah, I didn't have time at all. I would do it again anytime. I'd save those kids' lives, and I stand by what I did. And I'm covered under the Good Samaritan Act. I looked it up. That protects me for doing something in good faith. I had good intentions of what I was doing to save this guy.
It has to be reasonable, sir.
I felt reasonable.
Don't quote the law to me. I am the law.
Yes.
It has to be reasonable belief that they're in danger. And I'm not sure if it was reasonable or not. And that's why I'm asking these questions. And I'll determine whether your actions were reasonable or not. And whether they were in danger or not. But if you have a reasonable assumption that they are in danger and you tried to save them, then yes, you're protected by the Good Samaritan law. But if it was unreasonable for you to think something was wrong and you're going to bust this man's window out without tapping to make sure that the kids were woke, that's why I wanted to know that, because if you didn't tap, it's unreasonable for you to go and break the man's window, seeing his children in there sleep, not knowing whether they were asleep or whether they were in danger. Hey, that's what you do first. You said you did that, and they were unresponsive. So far, yes, sounds like you're within that statute. On the other hand, sir, you have to prove that, you have to tell me why you think it was unreasonable for him. What did he do wrong?
He broke
without knowing that it was a smart car. No one knows about smart cars.
But everybody should know that you are not within the law if you're scaring kids, if you're just going ahead and breaking stuff without actually checking every establishment.
He said he did check.
I did not see him.
Because you weren't there. How could you see anything?
Look,
You're not taking care of your kids.
Here's a picture of the destruction.
Yes, please.
Complete destruction that this man caused to my car. It's completely uncalled for, really. I'm disappointed because he could have done things a lot differently.
Well, I'm disappointed in you as a father, so.
Yeah, well, I'm disappointed in you as a human being.
11 and 12 years old. in particular, that's a little different also, sir, than they say the typical bad act of leaving toddlers in the car by themselves in the heat. It's not unreasonable to leave an 11 and a 12-year-old in the car. So this really boils down to, was it reasonable for him to assume that it wasn't a smart car? Or should this have come into his calculation? And I'm not sure it should have. Anything else you want to show me? Any other evidence?
I filed a police report when I got home.
Well, all right.
I made sure that my kids were okay first.
Did you speak to them?
Yes, I did.
And did you tell them about the smart car? Did they have any comments or observations? I know they can't tell you the law or weigh in on the law, but did they have any observations and said, oh, you had a smart car, so therefore nothing? No,
Not much.
Were they aware of this smart car control the temperature remotely?
I had to let them know about it. It seems that this thing is a brand new feature that people are not familiar with yet. That's why I decided to come here. I came here for justice, and I came here so that my kids can know that their father stands up for them.
Hey, your kids should know that they're alive because of me.
All right. Sir, I'm going to conclude that this was contributory negligence, meaning that you all both were negligent in some measure. And therefore, I'm going to grant you $300 instead of the $415. That means, sir, you're accountable for the majority of this because there are other means of which you could have endeavored to avoid having to break the window, particularly running into those two establishments. It was unreasonable to think within 10 seconds that they were going to die. You could run in there within 10 seconds. Hey, get kids in the car, it's real hot. Da, 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 da. He would say, hey, I got a smartphone, it's cool. So I'm going to grant you $300, but the other part, sir, is your assumption that everybody knows that these operate like this and is wrong. And so he was, in some sense, behaving as a good Samaritan would, but not quite without faulty reasoning. All right, have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff for $300.
All rise.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $300.
I think
clients. State your name.
Marley Cooper.
Ma'am.
Scarlett Cho.
All right, and ma'am, you're suing the defendant for $1,070, alleging your former friend sabotaged your business trip?
Yes, Your Honor.
Start with you. How do you all know each other and how long?
Scarlett and I met our first year at college at the University of Colorado. We were in the same sorority. Grateful for many friends I met there, but Scarlett in particular was my best. We decided to go into business together. We wanted to do marketing with wine, and we planned a trip to go to Napa to build connections with wineries out there so that they would want to work with us. Our flights were $1,070. That is the amount that I'm suing Scarlett for. I feel that I'm entitled to it.
And so go right ahead and tell me the facts of why you're suing.
Well, the first night we got to Napa, we decided to go to dinner, where I indulged myself in 2 glasses of red wine. And Scarlett decided to have 3 glasses as well as an espresso martini. This led to her being unprepared for the next morning's meetings and missing our breakfast together. And the car she booked took us to our second location instead of the first. We missed the first meeting, only had 15 minutes left to present to them, which was extremely unprofessional and not adequate to give all the information we had.
What did you all present to them?
We were presenting our marketing strategies to them so that we could work with them.
They had a contract that they were accepting bids on or that was available to be, and they were looking to do that?
I think that any business should be looking to expand in that way.
You think, but were they?
Well, now we won't know.
Right, and so now we don't know whether there were any damages.
I believe the damages...
Talk smart to me. Now we'll never know. You're right, we won't. We won't know whether there are any damages. Just like you say, we'll never know. You got anything you want to say about this, ma'am, about the transportation that she says ruined a contract that we'll never know about?
I do, in fact. So So Marley, my dear friend over here, she was in charge of making sure to kind of take care of all the itinerary stuff.
Who set up the opportunity?
I set up the opportunity.
You
I
knew
had the
folks.
connections.
You
Correct.
called.
I did.
And said, we want to pitch you to do what? To do your...
So I had the connections, but both of us worked together because we co-founded our business.
Most businesses plan 3 to 5 years ahead. And so that's why I'm trying to get that. And she gives me the, you'll never know. So can you let me know whether they were prepared and ready to begin a marketing campaign?
Yes. They were looking to we were looking for clients and they were looking for a marketing strategist. And that's who we were.
Okay, did they say how much they were going to pay?
We didn't talk numbers at all. We were going to say that for another conversation. But it was definitely something that was in the works for our business.
And if you'd have given a great presentation, do you think you would have gotten it? Or maybe with Judge Mathis. Had you drank too much the night before?
No, I have a high alcohol tolerance. I'm very smart when it comes to responsibility.
And what were the damages? I mean, when you all made the proposal? Well, you never made it. Did you make it?
Well,
because you sound like you said she booked the wrong address.
We had gotten to the wrong address first, and by the time we got to the correct first location, we only had 15 minutes left for what is supposed to be an hour and 15-minute long presentation.
Ma'am, did you give the wrong address?
No.
So, show me the evidence that you gave an address to the driver.
I have the car statement, yes.
All right, and let me see the one that she gave you. This is the address you gave the driver.
And this is the addresses that she gave me out of order.
Numbers.
So I would like to point out that 2 and 1 are out of order, but
transfer from hotel, send payment to. Where's the address, ma'am? Where's the address? You don't have the address on here. There's no address here. Why did you say there was? Why did you give me a document that doesn't say what you said? You tried to defraud me. First you lied to me, now you're trying to defraud the court. Judgment for the plaintiff. Never try and lie and defraud a judge, ma'am. In fact, you can go to jail for that. All right, have a good day. Don't do that anymore. You'll go to jail. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff.
All rise.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $1,070.
I really hope you learned what friendship and business can mean together, and I hope I never have to work with you again.
Her? Oh, well, it's the other girl. Somebody's going to think something nefarious about that, sir.
It wasn't that situation exactly. She did ask my opinion. She and I have been friends for years.
Did you get her a dog when you were going with her?
No, we had only been together. We'd only been together 6 months. We didn't move in together, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. That's why she left you. You didn't get her a dog. All right. She was a dog lover. You just made a mistake with her. But ladies like dogs, ma'am. He did what a lot of men would do and think they're really doing something special. That sounds within the boundaries of what I would do, or what most men. Let me get my baby a pup. Let me get my baby, girlfriend, wife, whoever. Let me get her a puppy.
Yes, Your Honor, but I was very clear about what I wanted our next steps to be. Now that we were dating for a year, now that we were living together, I made very clear to him that I would like us to be engaged and have that commitment. Your Honor, there was no reason that he should have given me the dog. I was very clear about what I wanted.
You weren't clear.
So what happened to the dog?
So the dog came into my apartment, threw up all over the place. There was red stuff in the throw up. I was even concerned that he was, bleeding internally. I rushed him over to the vet after, sitting in the waiting room for a little bit of time. The doctor saw him, noticed his stomach was bloated, told me they'd have to perform what's known as a gastropexy. They basically have to open up his stomach, remove what was in there, and then staple it shut. For $2,000.
Well, you got a deal. Go ahead. They charged me more because they thought I had money.
So we had the surgery done. I want the best for my dog. He's adorable, cute little pup. And unfortunately, once the surgery was done, the doctor told me that the red stuff was lipstick and that the dog had eaten deodorant, makeup, and lipstick. Now, my ex-girlfriend...
You have something that says that, sir?
Yes, absolutely. Do I have the evidence?
That, please?
Thank you very much.
Something where it describes having lipstick.
I believe it's the fourth page.
Okay. Ma'am, what do you say to that? What happened with the dog? You just coincidentally dropped the dog off when the dog was sick.
Your Honor,
Talk to me.
While the dog was in my care, he was perfectly healthy, perfectly energetic. From the moment I dropped the dog off at his door, I even parked across the street because I didn't want to talk to him.
Dog wasn't sick in the car, ma'am.
No, Your Honor. The dog
turned sick immediately. Time he saw him, he turned sick.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And where do you think the lipstick, just guess, where do you think the lipstick may have come from?
Your Honor, he's staying with his friend Rick, who is a complete mess. Who knows what he has lying around his apartment?
Do you know what date you brought the dog in?
Can you repeat that, Your Honor?
Do you know what date you brought, or approximate date that you dropped the dog off to him?
Your Honor, that was about 3 months ago.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to specify the date, I'm sure, and I don't see the exact date here. Well, lipstick and what else?
Makeup, foundation, as well as deodorant. He's a pretty young pup. She knows that he's gotten into the trash.
She says your roommate may have wore all that.
Right, my roommate.
Female or
male? Bachelor, Rick.
Okay, Rick wears. I mean, everybody do their own. People do their own thing. Does Rick wear makeup?
Rick does definitely not wear makeup. He does not.
All right. Tell you what I'm going to do here. Not sure who did it. So I can either dismiss it because you have the responsibility of proving it today, but having lipstick and other items in their body right around the time you dropped the dog off sick says something. So I'm going to split it up the middle. I'll grant you, sir, $1,000 for what I believe she might be partially responsible for. The other part is because you abandoned the dog. You left the dog. You never even called about the dog. Perhaps the dog would have been in better health and not had this incident where you involved in the dog's life. All right? $1,000 is your judgment. Good luck to you both.
All rise.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $1,000.
Any final words for each other?
Now I'm paying for a dog I never even wanted when I wanted a ring.
I'm very glad you're going to learn your lesson, and I hope you're less careless next time.
Lilia Douglas Lewis and Travis Lewis in the amount of $1,850.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding.
Mr. Douglas claims his sister and her husband had him arrested and says he missed 2 days of work while he was in jail.
State your name, sir.
Darian Douglas.
You all?
Lilia Douglas Lewis.
Travis Lewis.
All right. All right, sir. And you are suing the defendants for $1,850, alleging your sister made a false report on you, causing you to be arrested and losing income?
Absolutely.
All right. Start with you. You all been getting along all your life, you and your sister?
We have, until she got married.
What happened then?
To be honest with you, me and my sister had always had each other back. I mean, we had single parents, and it was just my dad, so we always wanted the best for each other. So she had my back, I had her back. You know, it was a time she had an abusive boyfriend. I stepped in. I was able to take care of it.
That's right.
I'm the big brother, you know? But it's not going well now. We're here today, you know?
How long did you say she's been married? Maybe I missed that. How long have they been married?
About 1.5 years now.
Okay. All right. And you get along with the husband or not?
I mean, I'm just...
Do you approve? You think she can do better? You think he's mediocre? Do you think he's just all right? Are you fine with him? He's a good guy? Say something. I
believe he's opinionated and controlling.
Okay. You feel he's controlling towards your sister. All right. Does she complain to him about, him to you?
She don't.
All right. And she enjoys it?
She do.
All right. And you don't have to sleep with him?
I don't.
All righty. Let me hear from you, ma'am. You tell me about your relationship with your brother. He sounds protective, but it sounds like he's also judgmental toward your partner's husband in this case. You give me some background on your relationship with your brother.
Yes, Your Honor. So my older brother, we've been through a lot together, but he gets into a lot of trouble. So, and I'm always the one that has to get him out of trouble.
What type of trouble?
Fighting, his mouth, too much opinions. He likes to say my husband has a lot of opinions, but he has, I think, more than a judge himself or a person that's trying to get out of trouble. So it's been a lot. So I feel like I'm always doing stuff. I'm always putting in money, I'm always bailing him out of something, and it's just never a break.
Sir, your sister got to take care of you?
No.
Does she always have to bail you out?
No.
Help you out?
She helped
with
me
your
out.
money, financially?
Yes,
How often?
Your Honor. She helped me out.
How
before.
often? Every year? Every 6 months?
I help her out too.
I didn't ask you that. How often does she have to help you?
Every 6 months, maybe. I'm in the carpet cleaning business. Sometimes you have a rough patch, all right? Me and my sister's relationship before has always been, she had my back, I have her back, you know? She has my back. She always encouraged me. She's the nerd in the family. She goes and, encouraged me, to change. She's the one who encouraged me to start the carpet cleaning company in the first place. So ever since she got married, I have this negative influence that's been going in her ear. And it's causing a big mess between me and my sister.
How does she bring it back to you? She comes back with different ideas of what you thought you would expect from her, and you assume she's getting it from her husband because she didn't think like this before? Is that what
I can hear him in the background.
Oh.
You can hear his voice in the background talking, and then all of a sudden she changed her mind. All of a sudden she changed her mind, okay? She's good at that. Changing minds once she had a conversation with him.
I'm not trying to be funny, but try not to buck your eyes because that's
I'm just a little upset, Your Honor, because it come to all of this. Nothing in that extreme, Go
ahead, tell me what you're suing about otherwise.
It was arranged that I was going to pay for her car. She had a Kia Sportage. Okay, and so in regards to that, I was going to pay for the insurance for her Pathfinder and the vehicle that I was going to eventually save up money and purchase. I started the cleaning company. A car is needed. You can't clean carpets on the bus. Okay, so I was doing that.
What was the arrangement?
To pay the insurance $1,582
in exchange for
the vehicle
to ride it, to use it,
to use the vehicle. I did that. When it got behind and I had that little lump sum issue, that's when I had to let her know. I sent her $150. I have proof with that right now.
No, you don't have to show me unless she contested.
Okay. Well, I
$150 you sent for what?
$150 towards the insurance.
Okay.
And that was supposed to go towards the insurance. I'm suing for the $500 tickets and fines that when I was in jail for 2 days.
Okay, tell me how you ended up being in jail as a result of this.
I got pulled over by the cops, and they looked and said that the car was stolen, and my sister reported the car as stolen for whatever the reason was, and that's what disgusts me right now.
Let me hear from you, ma'am. Did you all report the car stolen? Did you have an arrangement that he would use the car and then later call and say it was stolen? That's what he's saying? That's what you're saying, right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
So yes, I did give him a vehicle so that he can start his business because I didn't want him to get in any more trouble, and also because he has a record and it was hard to get a job. So I let him use the car. So the arrangement was, you using the car, how you would pay me back is that you would pay the insurances for both of the cars. So you paying the insurance for both of the cars and getting your life together, everything should be good. But he never held up his end of the bargain. He didn't pay for the insurance.
So why is she lying? Well, tell me about the police. Yeah, he says you called the police on him.
So yes, so he ended up having a conversation.
He was on a binge, 2 days, disappeared.
He disappeared. So then I was letting him know that he needs to bring the plates, because mind you, I work for the government. I work in IT. If I have anything on my record, I could lose my job, my income, my everything. And there's no insurance on the car. I found out about it through a letter. If I got stopped by the cops, there goes me having a record, and then now I lose my job.
Yeah.
I asked them, can you bring the plates to me? I don't have no response. He had a conversation with my husband, letting him know if my husband is telling him you can't take advantage of her, bring the plates. He's talking about, well, how am I going to be able to bring the plates when they expired? We could call you a Lyft and an Uber. We just want to make sure that it's
expired. Now suddenly he can't bring it back because they expired.
So I'm like, well, you can't just worry about yourself. You have to worry about. You want to say that, you always have my back. Well, my job is something that's important to me. It helps people.
I got that. But
the last communication with him, and
before
I have
you called the
here,
police,
I said, bro, what happened to you yesterday? And he left me. I know he read it.
You have something I can read there?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Hey, Darian, our insurance premium is due. Send the money. Sorry, sis, I've been struggling with work lately. I don't have it yet. You know it's due, right? We can't let it lapse or we'll be in trouble. They only give us 15 days. I know, but I can come up with it right now. Then you need to prioritize. I helped. Where's the part? The last conversation is in the last page or so? All right. Now, you're being very nice about it in these first couple pages. I don't know how you turned. You might have flipped. You become such a hater. Say, oh, who is that? I don't care how you do it. Yeah, I knew you were going to flip on it. How can I I don't blame you. How can I bring you the tags if the car is uninsured and I don't have a car? What do you want me to do?
Okay, me and my sister has an arrangement. I told you how that came.
She don't have to go for your arrangement and not paying. Was the insurance caught up, sir?
No, but I had the money next week.
Next week, all right.
And she did not have
to driven it until that next week.
She did not have to report the car stolen.
If you wouldn't respond. Show me where you responded. Show me where you responded after she says, make sure you bring it on Tuesday. Her last remarks, October 2nd. Hey, bruh, what happened to you yesterday? Show me your response after October 2nd. Then we can continue to talk.
That was the part where...
Do you have anything after October 2nd?
The only thing I have is the conversation before when
you have that October 2nd. After October 2nd, when you ghosted her again. That's after October 2nd. Let me see it, please, Amir.
Mr.
Yeah, like you his bet. You work for him.
I'm trying to help the man out. I know exactly what he's
Hey, bro, what happened to you yesterday? I said after October 2nd. Yeah, you smoking. Claim is dismissed, sir. She had a right, unless you responded to that. She had given you some grace already, begged you for the car, you going back and forth, you acting like she did something to you, then you want to talk about her marriage, everything but why you didn't pay and how you're going to pay, and when she told you to bring it, you agreed you would, then you didn't, then you ghosted her again. Claim dismissed. You were supposed to be locked up.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the co-defendants. The plaintiff's claim has been dismissed.
Xin chào mọi người. Đến với video hôm nay mình sẽ hướng dẫn mọi người làm một chiếc móc khóa hình miếng dưa hấu nha. Và để làm được chiếc móc khóa này mình sẽ sử dụng đến len màu trắng, màu đỏ và màu xanh lá. Bây giờ thì mình cùng bắt đầu làm nha. Để làm móc khóa miếng dưa hấu thì trước tiên mình sẽ tạo một nút thắt với len màu xanh. Sau đó là mình móc lên 13 mũi móc bính nha. Bảy, 8. Sau khi móc được 13 mũi bính như thế này thì mình sẽ vòng lại châm mũi thứ hai và móc 11 mũi móc đơn nha. 2 3 6 7 Sau khi đã móc xong được 11 mũi móc đơn, mình còn lại một chân bính, thì mình sẽ móc 3 mũi móc đơn chung chân nha. Sau khi móc được 3 mũi đơn chung chân thì mình sẽ móc tiếp 10 mũi đơn nữa. Ba, 4, 5, 7. Sau khi móc được 10 mũi đơn thì mình còn lại một chân mũi và mình sẽ móc một mũi móc tăng. Móc xong một mũi tăng này thì mình sẽ kết hàng vào chân mũi đầu tiên. Sau đó là lên hàng móc thứ hai nha. Mình sẽ móc một mũi móc tăng. Sau đó là móc 10 mũi móc đơn. Sáu, 9, 10. Sau khi được 10 mũi đơn thì mình sẽ móc tiếp 3 mũi móc tăng. Sau khi móc xong 3 mũi tăng thì mình sẽ móc tiếp 10 mũi móc đơn nữa nha. Bốn, 5, 6, sau khi đã móc xong được 10 mũi móc đơn thì mình còn lại 2 chân mũi và mình móc vào 2 chân mũi này 2 mũi tăng nha. Sau khi móc xong 2 mũi tăng thì mình sẽ kết hàng vào chân mũi đầu tiên. Sau đó là lên hàng móc thứ 3 nha. Ở hàng thứ 3 thì mình sẽ móc toàn bộ là mũi BLO, đó là vào chân sau của các chân mũi nha. Và ở hàng móc này thì mình sẽ móc toàn bộ là mũi móc đơn. Mỗi chân mũi của hàng móc này thì mình sẽ móc một mũi móc đơn. Sau đó là mình lặp lại công thức như vậy cho đến cuối hàng nha.